Good morning. Today is Friday, October 2nd, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and I'm choosing to rejoice and be glad in it, and I trust that you are doing the same. I'm so excited about this week. This has been such a great week. We moved from one month into the next month. We experienced cooler weather on my end, and really all around, I really just kind of made some exciting choices and decisions in my life with the help of God. And so I'm excited. And I know that some great things have happened to you as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing your testimonies and just rejoicing with you as God shows himself strong in your life. We are going to finish up our little mini series that we started, the 9 sins that Christians are okay with. We are on the last sin, and number 9 is lying. Now, clearly and obviously, we're like, okay, yeah, that's a sin. But the writer says there are times when we find ourselves in situations where we really are lying, but we just kind of accept it as nothing. He says this: if gluttony is the elephant in the room everyone sees but no one talks about, lying is the elephant in the room that no one sees. Lying is so socially acceptable, even in Christian circles, that it often goes undetected. We are desensitized to it. And here is why this is dangerous for Christians. There's a rarely discussed passage in Matthew 5:33 through 37, where Jesus confronts the Pharisees about oaths. Most Americans only hear the word oath when a celebrity lies in court under oath. But Jesus isn't talking about oaths in this passage. I'm going to pause so I hope that you know where I'm going. So the writer is not saying that we just deliberately say things to lie, but he is saying that we go against one of the rules that Jesus explains here in the New Testament. I'm going to read further, but I want you to keep in mind about that and kind of think about, what happens. So it's like, here's what Jesus is saying. You should live with such high integrity that your word doesn't need attachments to make it legitimate. So typical phrases like I promise, I swear, and I put it on my mom's grave should never come from your mouth. Frank, come on, man. Are you interpreting that correctly? Say you promise. These words are a kick in the pants, right? I mean, we say that all the time. I do. I promise I'm going to do this. And a lot of times we do it as qualifiers because we're trying to make our word hold more weight. But what the author is saying, and even what Jesus is saying, is that our words should be legitimate. Our word should be our bond. So we should not have to add qualifiers to it. We should not have to swear. I remember as a little girl growing up, we could never use the word swear. And so we always said promise. But what the Bible is really saying is that really these two words mean the same, and it's adding a qualifier to your word. It's saying that if I didn't add this, I would not actually do what I'm saying. And so what the Bible is saying and what the author is pointing out to us that Jesus is saying is that we shouldn't need that. What we say we're going to do, we should be doing it, or we should remain silent. Sometimes we should just remain silent. Jesus says there's no place for that if you're a Christian. Your words matters. If you say something, God expects you to do it. It's better to tell the truth and lose your job than lie and keep it. How serious is this? Jesus says anything more than our word is from the evil one, Satan, and that is real. So when we're adding things to what we're going to do, it's extra, okay? It's like flattery. It's like, okay, I really need you to believe me. When at the end of the day, we should just be living out the word of God. And the word of God is what's truth. It's what's fact. Okay, so if we're just living our lives in total truth and total fact, we should not have to be adding things to it because we're giving a sense that we don't normally keep our word. And that's not a Christian characteristic to not keep your word. That's a really big one. And I think he's right. It is often overlooked because we are so nonchalant. And we have to remember so much of our language has conformed to the world because we live in the world. But we have to remember that Romans 12 tells us to be not conformed to this world. Be not, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you can know what is that good, perfect, and acceptable will of God. And we know that by making sure our life is living out truth, living out fact, and living out the word of God. I trust that you can do it. I know I'm going to work hard on it because I really do want to be pleasing in the sight of God. I'm praying for you. I love you today, and I trust that you will move forward with a clear mind, sincere heart, and obedient footsteps. Go in love.